Christmas is traditionally a busy time for Singleton's small shopping centre. Nearly 20% of the town's population are miners, who with their high disposable income are valued customers to the Singleton shopkeepers. But with the Howick workers striking and with an uncertain future for other miners, spending is being strictly limited to the essentials.
We find our figures are down on previous years. We find a lot of our customers are not confident to spend as much money as they usually do.
People are waiting to see what's going to happen with this dispute.
President of the Singleton Chamber of Commerce, David Mason-Jones, says most businesses in the town have been affected by the industrial action and says Singleton desperately needs new types of industries.
I think what we need to do is broaden our economic base so that we get away from just a high reliance on coal. We want, in the long run, to bring more industries which are not related to coal.
That reliance on the miner's dollar is causing headaches for some Singleton businesses. Shopping is down, and with just over a week to go till Christmas, shopkeepers are looking for a quick resolution to the dispute. I'm Peter Ryan, reporting from Singleton for NBN News. The annual test is part of the night's training routine. It's used to show how strong the players are compared to the same time last year. Each of the more than 60 players went through 3 compulsory tests, including chin-ups, bench press and clean and press. Points were awarded for each test, with the highest point scorer the winner. Last year's champion Sam Stewart again went well, winning the under 98 kilogram class. But the tag of night's strongest player has gone to Glenn Miller. He won the under 85 kilogram division and on a weight to strength ratio is number 1. The Knights will get a break from training over Christmas, but that will be short-lived with their first trial match against the Western Suburbs Magpies set down for February 5th on the Central Coast.
By spending a mere $2 on a ticket at the local Red Cross meeting in Stroud, Wilma Tunnick's name was drawn from some 35,000 hopeful tickets. All were eager for the prize of a $10,000 open order at any David Jones store in the state. Today, Miles Hay from the Newcastle Red Cross and Frank Baxter from the Hunter store sent Mrs Tunnick her David Jones card fully credited with the $10,000, which she quickly signed and slipped into her purse. Mrs Tunnick doesn't quite know what she'll do with her booty. After all, she's done her Christmas shopping and has just bought a new lounge suite. But with unlimited time to spend the money, Mrs Tunnick says she'll take her time before making out her shopping list, and maybe even wait for the after-Christmas sales. Also a winner today was the Red Cross Society, which benefited from the $72,000 raised by David Jones during the competition.
The centre will be developed on 138 hectares of land adjacent to the airport and approximately 3 kilometres west of Scone. When completed, the complex will include an equine research centre, a racetrack on some 58 hectares which will also include training facilities, a pre-training establishment on 45 hectares, a motel site, a residential strata unit site and the establishment by the New South Wales Department of Technical and Further Education of training courses dealing with all facets and needs of the horse industry. The current racetrack at Scone, White Park, is now considered inadequate to cater for the ever-increasing popularity of the sport of kings in the Hunter Valley, so a move is proposed at a cost of some $4.2 million. Tony Bott, the director of Sedgwick Coast Stud and a member of the Hunter Valley Equine Centre Steering Committee, is confident that all aspects of financing the new complex are adequately taken care of.
Basically, the funding is coming initially in the purchase of the land for $1 million from the Hunter Valley Studs. They've donated a stallion nomination from most of the syndicates. This is raised in the order, or will raise in the order of about $600,000. And we have a letter from the Racecourse Development Board, which is TAB arm, which has said in principle they would commit $2.5 million over a 2-year period to the Scone Race Club Committee once they have procured the land.
A unique aspect of the centre will be the involvement of TAFE, which will provide a range of courses commencing with a traineeship in 1989 for young people interested in making the horse industry a career. Long-time favourite of session host stud, 23-year-old Kairoo Star, would certainly approve of the centre as the thoroughbred industry enters a new era.
About 20 out of 180 inmates work in the leather and canvas shop at Maitland Jail. Those products go to the armed forces where there's a steady demand for ammunition pouches and bags, but sales for one of their newest products are taking off. More than 1,000 detachable stretchers are now in use with the New South Wales Ambulance Service in nursing homes, and the demand is growing. Senior Officer John Godfrey is approached by the Corrective Services Department to come up with a design for the Go-Anywhere stretcher.
It had to be flexible, it had to be durable, and it had to be split in the middle so they could take a patient off it without disturbing the whole stretcher.
By removing a centre strap, the stretcher separates under the patient without the need for extra discomfort caused by lifting. The litter handles are in 4 segments instead of 2, giving more flexibility. It's compact and tough, it's attracting interest from as far afield as Qantas, an importing firm in Japan. The workshop's $120,000 turnover this year has made it the most successful in the New South Wales prison system's history. Of course, wages on the inside aren't all that attractive. Prisoners are lucky to make up to $30 a week on a piecework basis, but Mr Godfrey says there's a greater incentive.
They're really pleased with it, and it's good really because it's an incentive to them to do something when they get out, you know. They're learning all the time.
And I believe also that
The controversy over the future of the Corlett Marina has been building for more than a year now. The developers proposed a luxury motel and a marina for the site, now occupied by a dilapidated boatyard. Offering a 90-berth marina and 60-unit resort, the development was set to change the whole face of the Corlett foreshore. That concerned local residents and sparked a number of protest meetings and petitions to fight it. The residents claimed the resort would be incompatible with the existing use of the beachfront, and today it seems at least they have won part of the battle. The residents announced the Builders Workers Industrial Union has slapped green bans on the site, effectively stopping all construction work. Union Secretary Terry Maudsley said the decision was made after an inspection of the site, after which it was decided such a development would be a complete calamity. He said the resort would alter the water flow, destroying local beaches as well as the local environment. The BWIU's decision has the support of the other unions involved and the Trades Hall Council.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention just for a few seconds? By the power invested in me by the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, I hereby declare John Charles Mills of 7 Cheshire Close the duly elected member for the District of Wallsend in the New South Wales Parliament.
But I will do my best to
47-year-old John Mills had worked as Ken Booth's campaign director. An industrial chemist by trade, Mr Mills polled 55.8% of the vote, 4% down on Mr Booth's last poll.
I cannot fill his shoes, as I've said before, but I will do my best to take up those caring aspects of what Ken did, and I hope that that way I can serve the people of Wallsend and serve the Labor movement in this region the best. Thanks very much.
The other candidates were independents. Lindsay Bradley received 30.2% of the vote, with Paul Stocker and Philip Laver attracting 9.1% and 4.9% respectively.
How do you feel about the fact that there was no Liberal or National Party contender for the seat?
Well, I said before Mr Greiner chickened out, and I think it was pathetic, and I think it's bad for our democracy that the government of the day wasn't prepared to face the people on the basis of the things they've been doing for the last 9 months.
Mr Mills said the first issues he hopes to address are jobs in new industry, hospitals and underground mining.
Well, he did
Peter
lose.
Ryan reporting for NBN
So
News.
the Liberal Party didn't lose in the short term, but I think in the
With only a day to go, Santas are being kept busy with
And when is your shift
requests from children, all
finish at 1
determined to
o'clock
tell him exactly what they'd like for Christmas.
Come on,
One
and
of the more
inside
popular
there is
Santas is
also a
found in the
little
toy
present. So when you
department of
open
David
it,
Jones in
do it careful
Newcastle.
and you can close
For the
it up
last
and you
couple
can
of
play
weeks,
on it.
he's had the delightful
Table and
task of listening to
chairs,
hundreds of children telling
You
him
want a
just
good
what
one?
they hope to discover
Good.
under the tree
The middle
Christmas morning.
peg, okay. And what do you want for Christmas?
Nothing much.
Nothing much. What's wrong with your children this year? No one seems to want anything or nothing much.
A skateboard and a,
Oh, darling, why?
a boogie board.
Why a skateboard? Eh? Why do you want a skateboard?
Because I can ride them.
And what would you like for Christmas? What does he want?
I don't know, he hasn't told me.
Doesn't he talk to you yet?
No, he can't talk yet.
I know he can't talk, but I thought you might know what he'd like.
Oh, I do know something that he might like.
What's that?
And you might have to go in a shop and get him a twinkle ball. I want a skateboard like that,
Oh, darling, you're too young for a skateboard yet. Can't we get that when you get a little bit bigger?
I don't stand up on it. I'm alright.
You're going to lay down on it. What do you want for Christmas? Have you forgot?
Just some surprises.
Just some surprises. All right, my sweetheart.
Do you get the things on special your mum's put on special?
Well, I don't know. Depends on whether your mum put it on special early enough to get it on special.
Mum put it on special.
What was it?
It was a Christmas fair, a Barbie doll, a Barbie house and Barbie clothes and a Barbie set.
Wow. I think she'd have to get it on special, darling, to be able to afford all of that.
But before Santa begins to think
There
about
we
these
go.
wishes, he has to ask a few very important questions.
Have you been good all year for Mummy?
Yeah.
You've been doing everything Mummy asked you?
Yeah.
Great. And you help around the house, do you?
Yeah.
Tell me, do you tidy up your room?
Yeah.
And you do the dusting and the vacuuming
Yeah.
and the washing
Yeah.
and the cooking?
Yeah.
Good girl. What's Mummy do? Does she sit and watch TV all day? What do we want for Christmas?
Everything.
Everything. Nothing specific, just everything. What about you, Carly? What do you want?
Meet Constable X, name withheld to prevent any potential criminal becoming too friendly. Height about 700 millimetres, weight 43 kilograms, age 18 months, type pure German Shepherd. Experience 6 months intensive training in Sydney and Gosford to hone his instinctive skills at tracking down people and objects with distinctive scents, such as illegal drugs. Constable X is stationed at Maitland along with his also highly trained handler, Constable Tim Brown, who will be his constant companion throughout his expected 5-year working life. Up till now, when a dog was required, it had to be brought up from Sydney, and this in itself created greater demand. Now, with regionalisation the catch cry in the force, it was inevitable we'd get our own dog squad to handle those special tasks.
He'll be able to track offenders, locate offenders that are hiding, as well as lost people, missing persons, property. He's mainly an extension of what the police have got here. He's a resource that they'll get a lot of use out of, and we hope we're going to get a lot of work out of him.
The training is repetitious, but it pays off. With Constable Brown every bit as fit as his canine workmate. But the important thing to keeping the dog alert is to make training and work fun.
We work together all the time. That's our job. I'm as good as what he is, and he's as good as what I am. And keenness is a big thing for him. If the handler's keen, he'll get out and work a lot better.
The dead fish have surfaced in and around the Araring Power Station intake canal at Dora Creek. Today, Elcom employees were hard at work picking them up. Several truckloads have been carted away.
Unless they get them out in a hurry, there's going to be a lot of complaints from around the neighbourhood here, which I think that's what's brought this on now, is because of the stench of the water for the last couple of days that they've complained to such an extent that this is what's happened.
The problem began during a routine inspection of the power station's intake canal and outfall tunnel canal system. For the first time, the tunnels were drained and pumps stopped, resulting in a drop in water oxygen levels. Elcom believes that's why the fish have died, but it says many of them were simply stunned. However, some believe the problem could have been avoided.
When they realised what the stench was here, they should have turned the pumps back on and shot a bit of water through it to put a bit of oxygen back in it.
Elcom says no chemicals were used during the clean-up and the oxygen levels are now back to normal. However, that's too late for many of the fish. Elcom admits it expected large numbers to die, but claims there were many more fish in the intake canal than expected. The popular fishing spot may now lose its attractiveness.
Well, this is going to take another 4 or 5 years to bring this back to what it is now.
Meanwhile, Elcom says maintenance work will again be necessary in the future. However, research will be undertaken to minimise the risk of similar problems.
The Americans drove hard all night, keeping the scores even until the 9th of 12 heats. John Pine then edged the Australians in front by 4 points, which were shortly pegged back to 2. It wasn't until the final heat, when John Brown came in first and Stu Robertson second, that the Australians clinched the test 39 points to 33. Tomorrow night, the Motordrome will feature the Johnny Hoskins Memorial World Masters Solo International. Hoskins was the founder of Solo Speedway, holding the first ever race at Maitland back in 1923. Champions from Finland, Poland, Norway and Germany will be racing, as well as local stars Stephen Davies, Chris Watson and Todd Wilshire.
Second place, that's Colin.
Oh, that's a good shot from Steve.
Young West German Karl-Uwe Steve started the best in the final, breaking Lendl in the third game. However, the world number 2 broke straight back and games went with serve until a tiebreaker was needed to end the deadlock. Lendl took the tiebreaker 7-5 after earlier winning the first 6. Steve had been playing well above his world ranking of 73 until the second set.
Oh, that's a super shot from Lendl.
Just a great 6-1. Occasional wind gust were playing havoc on centre court, with both players notching up a high number of unforced errors. By the third set, Lendl was well in control of the match.
And this time, no mistake from Ivan Lendl, the world's number 2 tennis player at the moment. And he wraps up the match, defeating Charlie Steve in 3 straight sets, 7-6, 6-1, 7-5.
Roach Racket Resort touring professional Liz Smiley won the women's event in a tough 3-setter. The Olympic doubles bronze medalist won the first set 6-4, but Minter, the world number 26, fought back, winning the second 6-3 to force the match into a third and deciding set. Smiley has had a poor year, dropping out of the world top 100, but the way she played today, it looks as though the Salamander 25-year-old is set for a big 1989. Smiley broke Minter in the 10th game of the third set to take the match.
And Ann Minter hits out, and Liz Smiley, the Coca-Cola Toyota Port Stephens International Tennis Classic champion in the women's singles, 2 sets to 1, 6-4, 3-6, 6-4, and Tony after a slow start.
Clubs and restaurants were also well patronised.
driving, and only 12 offenders were charged last night out of some 360 tested in the Newcastle area. At Spears Point Park, the city of Lake Macquarie hosted its last bicentennial project, Farewell Fest. The fairground excitement was all a little too much for some, but there were plenty of others still awake by 12 o'clock to see the new year in with a big bang. Shy at the party. The general
Merry
feeling,
Christmas and a Happy New Year to everybody, and God bless you.
And after the New Year celebrations come those New Year resolutions.
My New Year's resolution is maybe win lotto.
I'd like to talk to pretty looking girls next year on the beach.
Just to save the ozone layer.
Probably not to have New Year's resolutions, that's not a bad one.
At around 7 this morning, dairy farmer and chairman of the Hunter Valley Cooperative Dairy Company, Peter Doyle, was one who pulled the plug on his vat and watched 1,200 litres of milk flow away.
Yesterday we received news down at the factory that 10 trucks of milk were being cancelled. Now what happens with this milk, it's ordered on a Wednesday. 24 trucks were ordered by dairy farmers. It was confirmed on Thursday that the 24 trucks were right, and yesterday morning we received notification that 10 of those trucks were being cancelled.
With 22,000 litres in each tanker, Peter says the loss is substantial. Some 200 farmers supplying the Muswellbrook and Hexham factories were affected. Dairy Farmers General Manager Don Kinnersley says it's simply a problem of demand. Traditionally over Christmas milk consumption drops, but yesterday it was down dramatically. Dairy Farmers has offered to take milk for processing at its Dungog and Gloucester factories. Norco has also offered some assistance. Mr Doyle says all milk produced for the Hunter Valley Company will be accepted from this afternoon.
The farmers will be compensated for any lost milk. I can say that categorically that no farmer will be disadvantaged by the milk that had to go down the drain.
But for Mr Doyle, who's also on the board of Dairy Farmers, there are still some questions to be answered.
We certainly want to have a look into just why this hiccup occurred, and I'd be reluctant to make any criticism at this stage. We feel that we have been unfairly treated over this, and we'll certainly be looking into it, and if there's a case that we can be compensated, well, we'll certainly be looking right into that.
What's going to be happening to the extra milk over the next few days?